Hi everyone, in the last video I showed you how to attach your facing and back yoke piece along with your collar to your top. We need to close this back yoke piece at the shoulder seam on each side and then also down at the bottom. You'll leave your armhole seam right here open. To attach the shoulder seams, you're going to take your back yoke and you're going to flip it back, take the shoulder seam right here and match this up with the shoulder seam where your back yoke and front panels are attached. So that shoulder seam, you're going to match up with the shoulder seam of your back yoke. And you will pin this into place and just sew it at 1/2 inch seam allowance, so you can just sew right on top of this 1/2 inch seam allowance where you attached your other back yoke piece to your front panels. So I'm going to go sew those together on each side. Okay, so I have attached this back yoke piece at the shoulder seams on each side. Now I have to attach the bottom of this yoke to this seam allowance right here where your back panel is sewn on to your other back yoke. So I want to show you what the finished product needs to look like. This piece will be folded under 1/2 inch and we'll cover this seam right here. So just so you can see, that's what we're after. Again, these pieces right here where the armhole is, just leave that alone. So in order to do this, we're actually going to turn this over. Take your back yoke that's under there, flip it out. So here's my collar, my back yoke that's not attached yet, and the rest of my back shirt. Take your back shirt and start to roll it. All right, here's my seam allowance right here where that back panel is attached to the back yoke. As I roll it, now I'm going to take the seam allowance and line it up with the edge of this back yoke piece that's not attached yet. I'm going to put some pins in. Okay, I've pinned all of that. Now you're going to sew just right on top of this stitch line that's already there, or you can sew a little inside of it towards your raw edge, maybe sew it like 3/8 of an inch. You just don't want to cross this line. You don't want to cross it where it's further in from this raw edge. So either sew on top of it or sew a little below it, closer to the direction of your raw edge right here. Okay, I've sewn just a little inside of that original 1/2 inch seam allowance, so just a little inside, closer towards my raw edge. Now I'm ready to take this and you're gonna pull your fabric through this little tunnel that you made. Just pull it all the way through. All right, so now that is nice and connected and folded under. And you can just go over to your iron and then just press this down a little bit to help it lay better.